Doug and PA back with another video. So if you guys haven't seen in the news, the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action, saying that it violated the 14th Amendment. I, for one, am glad because affirmative action has helped more women than any other group, particularly white women. So it's a win for us guys. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Hispanic. If you're a man, this is a win for us guys. Look into the stats, okay? Now, a lot of talking heads on the left have something to say about it, and it's my least favorite talking heads are Jamel Hill. I did a video about her on my channel. You can look it up. Malika Andrews. Malika Andrews is the biggest man-hating misandrist on TV right now. And then it's funny, Joy Reid too, but I don't watch MSNBC, so I forget about her sometimes until she says stuff like this to get back into the headlines. Joy Reid admits affirmative action got her into Harvard. We're going to watch this video and then go over this article. Before I do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. It shows you support me and what I'm doing over here. Let's see what's going on with Joy Reid.
Let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action. I went to a school no one had ever heard of in Denver, Colorado, in a small suburb. I didn't go to Exeter or Andover. I didn't have college test prep. I just happened to be really nerdy and smart and have really good grades and good SAT scores. But someone...
So I was one of those too. I grew up in Western Washington, a predominantly white area, black kid, good grades, good SAT scores. But I thought about cost the whole time. I went to community college. I went to a state school for undergrad and a state school for my master's degree, and I was able to achieve everything I wanted in my career. And I had to work for it. Anything you work for, you're gonna appreciate a lot more. And Joy Reid went to Harvard. These Ivy League schools, I wonder how much Joy Reid still has in student loans. I bet it's a lot.
Someone came to Denver, Colorado to look for me. A Harvard recruiter flew to Denver, and I met up with her at the Village Inn restaurant and did a pre-interview to get to pull me into Harvard. I was pulled in, and the schools like Harvard and Yale that I got into affirmatively. Yes. And it was literally not saying we're going to take it.
Yeah, and you were affirmatively pulled in there because you were a woman. Okay, I wonder how many men they flew out to pull into Harvard.
An unqualified person and put them in Harvard. Yes. We're going to take a very qualified person who we would never know existed and put them in Harvard. That's how I got there. That's how Ketanji got there. That's how Justice Jackson, I should say. Justice Jackson got there. It's how Clarence Thomas got there.
Okay. So it says affirmative action was the only reason MSNBC Joy Reid attended Harvard, the anchor insisted on Thursday. Reid made the point while appearing on All In with Chris Hayes to comment on the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that affirmative action in college admissions violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. While opposing the decision, Reid admitted that she benefited from affirmative action. She said that we went over what she said already. The Supreme Court arose after the accusation that Asian American students were being discriminated by being held to a higher standard compared to Black or Hispanic students because of affirmative action. Several liberal personalities, however, have insisted that the decision will primarily benefit white students. And if you guys want to know what that's about, Ivy League schools are being dominated by Asians. Yale, Harvard, because Asians just do really, really well in our school system. So a lot of these universities are finding ways to cap Asian enrollment to be able to let other students in that haven't performed as well. You can see this is documented in court cases at certain schools. Asian students are suing these schools. So I'm not making this up. It said, for example, after the decision, author Michael Harriet tweeted, "Before you begin your think piece, the Supreme Court did not strike down affirmative action. Admission preferences for legacies, donors, employee families, and special recommendations are still allowed. The court struck down affirmative action for everyone except white people." Reid did not reference the impact on Asian Americans, but noted that her presence was questioned by white people at Harvard. And you know what? I've never had people question why I was in a place, because I told you I did it the old-fashioned way. I was in a big conference class where some white people stood up and said, those students, the black students, they're only here because of affirmative action. It became a huge argument that we all ended up having, Reid described. Oh, well. You know, if people ever think that you shouldn't be there, you just prove them wrong. Get good grades and be successful. She added, I've never had my academic credentials questioned. I've never had anyone question whether I was intelligent until I got to Harvard. And it was a defining point of my experience there. It was one of the many reasons I was miserable there my freshman year. You felt completely out of place. People kept telling me you shouldn't be here, and yet some of the people I went to school with were far less smart than me or the other black folks there. Other MSNBC personalities have also attacked the decision regarding affirmative action. Columnist Dean Obadala tweeted, next up, the GOP Supreme Court will strike down the Civil Rights Act to allow Jim Crow segregation to start again. Please don't dismiss this as being over the top. This so-called court ended reproductive freedom, gutted the Voting Rights Act, and ended affirmative action. MSNBC legal analyst Charles Coleman argued, when you're limiting that, particularly in many respects based off of a misunderstanding about race, what you're doing is you're limiting people's access to the American dream. Once again, I'm all for this, guys. If you get a trade, if you get a degree field in something that matters, it doesn't matter if it's from Ivy League or not. You will be successful if you put in the work. Think about this. That's why men still make more money than women, although women dominate college. Guys, go to a state school, get a degree in STEM, get a trade. Okay? Women are going to Harvard, but they're still getting degrees and stuff that doesn't matter. Okay? I, for one, am glad that affirmative action has gotten struck down. Affirmative action had nothing to do with my success at all. And a lot of us men, white, black, Hispanic, will tell you we were successful whether affirmative action was there or not. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.